automatic materialize because he said he wants to make it visualize, verbalize, internalize, and it will materialize.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Sounds like you've been listening to this show and flow regularly, brother, but I just say thank you.
But it's the truth. I only can speak the truth, man.
It is the truth, brother, and just thank you, man, for all you do. Thank, of course, the young brother who joined me, and just thank Brother Wayne. And we look forward, man, to seeing everybody tomorrow at Mondawmin, 5 o'clock weigh-in. And, of course, on Saturday is the main event where it's going down at Coppin State University. Again, invite. Just go ahead and take that opportunity, man, these next 30 seconds, and give the people that's listening a personal invite to come out to be a part of this event.
Listen, you guys, please come out and support this young brother. He's doing a bunch of positive things. Please get your ice cream and your popcorn. Don't blink because you might miss something.
That's right, brother. So let me just say thank you, brother, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow Saturday, all right?
All right, no problem. Thank you.
All right, go in peace, Coach. Thank you, man. Peace.
Okay, bye.
All right, and again, family, just tuning in. Just had an opportunity to hear from one of the brothers, of course, our next Mayweather, our next Muhammad Ali, and just our next greatest, man, in terms of our young people that are doing what they're doing right now in terms of using their time, their talent, and their treasures in the boxing ring. So this event going down Saturday, Coppin State University. Make sure you, of course, show them some love. Tickets are still available. Stop past Charm City Chicken and Waffle Restaurant right there at 807 Washington Boulevard, or you can give them a call, 443-708-5452. So let me do this, go to this quick musical break. Then we're going to come back in, bring it on home locally. And if time permit, I'll get back into the Trayvon Martin case and the George Zimmerman case, and of course still talking about the boycott and the need for our boycott as well, which is a must that we have to do. So let me transition because I want to bring it home locally and talk about some of these local events, and then we're going to come back in, go a little deeper into the show and the flow this afternoon. So in the meantime and in between time, let me go to this clip and we'll be right back with more of the State of the City. Listen to this message and we'll be right back.
Them tears, they fell slow, roots and bruises so deep, found it hard to sleep. Souls lost in the heat, pray to God to keep. Fast forward to my pop, he nod and geek. Off the heron, still he was there to bear arms. That's where I'm from, my story ain't that different from yours. A bloodline of hard times, prisons and wars. The struggle became rain, when it rains it pours. We stayed between liquor stores and praised the Lord. Singing we shall overcome cause we came for more. We were dancing for it to rain no more. Though hurricanes and waves they came ashore, taking lives of the brave and poor. They'd ignore us once again, but it was lessons in the wind of change that came from within. So dance, little brother, don't give up the fight. Hang on till tomorrow, the truth will come to light. Dance, little sister, don't give up the day. Hang on till tomorrow, tonight we celebrate. Wonder if I make it to heaven, will I get a chance to party and celebrate with the great black bodies? I'm talking Bob Marley, Nina and Marcus Garvey. Similar to Africa, the streets is our safari. From shanties and slums is children with guns. AIDS and poverty killing our young. Gramps keep saying that a savior gon' come. For the meek and the humble, favor gon' come. From the same trees we were hung, we can see the sun. In the darkest hour, our power begun. I write from the same place they were bleeding from. My MCing ain't done until the streets is won. So far we've come, we're so far to go. To do the impossible, only gotta know how we do it. I speak it and I put it in the music. The struggle lives through it, it's a movement, so move it. Dance, little brother, don't give up the fight. Hang on till tomorrow, the truth will come to light. Dance, little sister, don't give up the day. Hang on till tomorrow, tonight we celebrate, celebrate. Celebrate. Celebrate.
Welcome back. You're listening to The State of the City. I'm your host, Brother Muhammad. Now let me transition, get into some of these local stories. As we saw, we're one of the so-called Baltimore's public enemy number one, Daryl, I think it was named Daryl Anderson or Daryl Martin, who was located in Alabama. And the only question I have about that, if you had a young man that was out on the streets that was committing all this carnage, committing all these murders and committing all these crimes, and he didn't do 1 day in jail, then that means the question that we got to ask was, who was he really working for? Was he really working for himself? Was he really in a gang? Or was he really working for the Baltimore City Police Department? Was he working for the state's attorney's office? We got to ask, which one of these agencies was he working for? Was he a rat? Was he a criminal informant? That's the question we got to ask. And anytime you see somebody committing the kind of crimes in terms of murders, homicides, and other crimes on the streets of Baltimore, as we saw in the book by Bill Kiesling, The Midnight Ride or The Long Ride of Jonathan Luna, in which he talked about individuals like a Warren Grace and Lionel Smith and others that were around here in the city of Baltimore creating all types of carnage and havoc, shooting and killing and having bodies, but yet they didn't do a day in jail. That means either they working for the federal authorities, state authorities, or the local authority. Don't you ever forget that. But shame on, again, the media try to say that this young man was public enemy number one, when we got some individuals around here like Anthony Barksdale, a Baltimore City police officer, and others that's been breaking crimes that have bodies, I'll say alleged, have bodies on their chests. They got some bodies, they got some black and yellow. They've chalked some people, and they still walking around and yet to be arrested by your police commissioners running around here talking about, if you hurt people, if you harm people, if you kill people, we coming for you. Well, Barksdale, I think, still out on paid leave, man. Barksdale's still on paid leave. And some others. We lost at least 13 people last year at the hands of the Baltimore City Police Department. Rogue elements within the police department. And those are the ones that you know of. I won't tell you about the ones where they found bodies in the park. Take your choice of which park you want to talk about, of course. Prostitutes in trunks. Don't let me get into those stories that I know of. But again, you tuned to The State of the City. Also, let me thank the residents. Let me thank the residents of Harbor Point, or the residents should be the future homeowners in Harbor Point of Perkins Homes, for coming out as they did yesterday and supporting themselves around the issues of jobs, around the issues of economic justice. So I thank Councilman Carl Stokes, and again, I encourage you to call him and thank him. And I thank the residents. I thank those who came out to support the residents as well. And again, I say shame on Michael Beatty and H&S Bakery and those working with Michael Beatty. Shame on your mayor running around here acting more like a concierge for Michael Beatty. Cigar, cigarette, little sex, whatever it is you need, she will supply for you. But shame on your mayor. Didn't have a nerve to want to open her mouth up to talk about some comments that Congressman Andy Harris made about the Zimmerman verdict, and talking about Trayvon Martin's, when we done lost a whole lot of Trayvons, Avons, Davons, and others since she been on the council that she never opened her mouth up about. That never did any actions against the future Trayvons, or maybe she did by closing your recs and closing your schools. So she got a little more George Zimmerman in her than she claiming Andy Harris has in him when you look at her actions, man. When you look at her actions, because Andy Harris don't represent the district that you live in. He don't represent Baltimore City. It's that Congressman Elijah Cummings. It's that Congressman Dutch Rupersberger. Harris don't represent this district. So it lets you see how shallow your mayor is, but it lets you see that she got maybe a little more George Zimmerman in her than she has in terms of the mother of Trayvon Martin, Sabrina Fulton, or Trayvon Martin's real mother. And I'll have to get back into that because there's so many more questions and so much more information that I want to give you. I don't know if some of you are prepared and can handle it. But my job is not to be concerned about whether you can handle the truth, but to give you the truth from what we have seen. But again, I thank the residents of Perkins Homes that came out. But the question I'll be asking, where was your mayor to support you? Where was City Council President Jack Young to support you? Where were the other members on the council to support you? Where was the NAACP to support you? Where was the Urban League? Where was the National Action Network? Where was the Associated Black Charity? Where was Jamal Bryan and the Ministerial Alliance to come out to support this issue of jobs, jobs, jobs? Where was Walter Thomas, since we saw him on the front page of the Sun paper the other day talking about how they have forged new relationships with the police department, or the old relationships that are now just coming to light, because we know many of these preachers, not all, but many of these, at least the mega churches, they got the mega purses, mega pimps and mega wimps working with law enforcement. And they're not working for law enforcement in the best way. They're working for them in the worst way. But again, where were, of course, Walter Thomas? Where was Frank Reed? Where was, again, Attorney Billy Murphy? That seems to have come from out of hibernation like the rest of these Negroes around the death of Trayvon Martin, but not around the brutal murderings and brutal killings and brutal beatings at blacks in this city by the police department and officers and people affiliated with the police department. Where was the Billy Murphys to talk about that? They're defending these corporations more so than they're defending the people who make up this corporation called the city of Baltimore. And again, I have to ask, where was the state's attorney? He's part of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. If he's serious about crime, you would have thought he would have come out to support, again, the issue of jobs in the city of Baltimore. Where was the, what's his name? Not the state's attorney, but Rod Rosenstein, the U.S. attorney. He's on that, again, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. So where were they to come out to support the residents in Perkins Homes? Where was Sheriff John Anderson? He's on it. So they know how to bring all that team together when they want to lock you up. But they seem not to be able to bring that team together when it comes to lifting you up, man. They know how to put together a quick task force, but not to get up off your ass force as far as getting some jobs in the city. So they quick to lock you up, but they ain't quick to lift you up. They quick to lock you down, but not to try to lift you up, man. So, again, I thank those that came out and stood with, again, Councilman, who's acting more like the council president, and Councilman Carl Stokes. But, again, to see Michael Beatty to go and get him some paid, went and got him some paid protesters to come and protest and say they support Harbor Point. And here's a white man that don't have a clear plan, that got bad credit. And only those that got bad credit need a cosigner. So Michael Beatty got bad credit, went to get your mayor to cosign for him, and we've seen all these projects that she has pushed before that have failed. Now, how could she come to you after the failing of that $305 million hotel down there called the Hilton and say that you should get behind Harbor Point? Why? Michael Beatty's not putting up his own money. If his credit was that good, he could go to one of these banks around here. Choose your choice. He could go to one of these banks around here. If Exelon credit was that good, they could go to one of these banks around here, or one of their friends on Wall Street. If Morgan Stanley credit was that good, they surely could go to their white brethren on Wall Street and get the money to build their own facility. But obviously their credit's not that good that the boys on Wall Street, or just the boys on Charles Street from the Greater Baltimore Committee, that those boys don't trust them. So therefore, they got to come to your mayor running around here like a high-priced call girl in Las Vegas, a 5-star chick trying to be 5-star slick, don't even give you a plan, but just tell you we got one piece of paper and we're going to create a lot of jobs. Well, how many times has she said that since she's been down there on the council, man? And say that Councilman Carl Stokes is holding up, again, this Harbor Point piece. But they voted on it now on the Board of Guesstimates the other day and yesterday. But again, as I said before, you get these white guys with these Brooks Brothers suits, and they're the one that's created all the conditions that we see existing in the city of Baltimore. That they suck the money out of the neighborhoods, suck the money out of the communities and out of your schools, and then put it downtown in their businesses. And when their businesses lose money, they just walk away from them. They walk away from them and leave it on the taxpayers. But again, no transparency, no clarity, no parity. And again, when it comes to getting money for your schools and your recreation centers, it's a rarity. It's a rarity, and they treat you like you worse than charity in the city, man. Treat you like you worse than charity in this city for the citizens that's living uptown. But if you downtown, particularly in Harbor Point, Harbor East, and you got white business owners and white developers are growing increasingly angry with John Padarakis and Michael Beatty because they getting all the yeast, meaning the bread, so that they can rise, but they're not putting up their money, as we saw with Ed Hale and First Mariner. I know I just hit a nerve with Tom Kefauver. As we saw with Ed Hale, that continued to get bailed out by your former mayor, Steli Dixon, and your current mayor, Stephanie Rollins Fake. These Stepford mayors or these Stepford politicians. Why, you suffering in your communities right now. But Ed Hale ain't do too well.